Welcome to Bar Chat, that's where it's at.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Becca.
And we're chatting all things dance. All right, so you guys always ask us a whole bunch of questions on TikTok, on Instagram, in our DMs, in our comment sections. So today we are going to answer those questions. We are doing a Q&A episode.
Woo!
So we have chosen our favorite questions from you guys.
Sorry, threw you off.
It's okay. We've chosen our favorite questions from you guys, printed them out, and put it in a hat. So we are going to select them at random, and we are going to answer them for you guys. So I hope that we answer your questions today.
Okay, first question. Let's go. Lexi, would you like to pick?
Sure. All right. Rate dance styles best to not favorite to do.
Okay.
So I think I'm rating.
So like your most favorite to least favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm rating my favorite dances like most to
Your
least favorite.
genres that you like.
Okay. I would probably put contemporary at the top,
Mm-hmm.
jazz after it, then hip hop, then tap, then ballet, then points. What about you guys?
Yeah, like around contemporary, jazz, ballet, jazz funk, hip hop, and then maybe tap somewhere's around there too. I don't know. I don't like having least favorites because I need to push myself on all styles. So like if I tell myself I don't like something, then I'm not gonna go into the class like feeling as great.
That's fair.
I
Okay,
have it kind of just depends on my mood. Like some days I like ballet a lot more. Some days I like contemporary more. But generally speaking, it would be contemporary, ballet, and hip hop at the top. Then I would do like jazz funk, tap, and I actually have a least favorite, which is modern. I just
That's
don't like
fair,
modern.
yeah.
And it's not,
It's such a hit or miss.
but I've had many years of training in it. I just think it's boring. I don't like it. It's like me and Pilates and yoga.
Wait, you don't like the lateral T?
No. And the lateral T turns.
So what's your least favorite modern style?
Horton. Graham is nicer because I feel like,
Do you want to explain what that is to people that don't know?
I mean, Martha Graham invented the Graham technique, and that involves a lot more contractions and
It's very
curved
soulful.
shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very emotive, and there's a lot more curved shapes with the arms and your torso. Like everything is, it's almost like dancing up to the sky, I feel like. And then Horton is more line-based movements, very angular. And then there's a couple other styles of modern as well, but I mainly trained in Graham, especially, and
Those
Horton.
are the main two they focus on
Yeah.
in school.
And then there's like Dunham and like all the other
Lamone
ones.
was
Yeah.
like a big one that my school had. That is my favorite. I love modern.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about modern because I'm like
forgot too.
not really in that world right now.
Mhm.
Don't mind me, my voice is gone, but it's like so raspy.
Yeah.
But I really do love modern. I feel like where I don't like is when it's not like the classical modern technique, when it gets more like concerty, contemporary, and like people put their own twist to it. I do love like the classical technique of a lot, or if not all, modern.
I just think about like the other styles and how it like, I don't know, like I just like them more.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll do a modern class if I have to, but if I'm picking and I'm paying for a class, it's not going to be that first.
yeah.
So that's my
For
least
sure.
favorite.
Okay, so did you just throw that on the floor, Lexi?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pick the next one. I'm gonna go in a little deeper here for our podcast listeners. This is our paper. Oh, one fell out. And this question is, any tips on how to start dance as an adult? So I get this DM very, very often. I get this question very often. And of course, it depends on where you live. Some cities have so much access to adult dance classes. Other cities don't. But also, I think even starting at home, there's so many online dance platforms nowadays that you are kind of in the comfort of your own home where you can start learning dance. Doing dance workout classes can also be like a great way to start, depending. Like people do like ballet bar as like a workout, so they have classes like that. And then, yeah, just finding adult classes in your area and just don't be afraid to be a beginner. Like, I think that's the scariest part about
That's good.
beginner dance
That was good
classes.
advice.
That was sarcasm.
No. That's good. Don't be afraid to be a beginner. Like,
Well,
that's
because
so true.
I kind of,
Everybody starts there.
Exactly.
yeah, because that was really hard for me when I started because I felt so behind. I was with like a lot of younger people in my levels when I first started dancing, and you can't really let that get to you. Everyone is in a different stage of their life and everyone grows differently. Some people have been dancing for years, and even if you're the most beginner or you don't know as much as everyone else in your adult beginning class, just know that be patient with yourself and give yourself time to grow and learn these things. And you're there because you love it. So just hold on to that.
I keep seeing so many TikToks on my For You page, and it's like, join me with a day in my life as I start ballet in my 20s. And I love watching those videos because I'm like, yes, like I feel like there's such a stigma where like you have to start dance at a young age.
Yeah.
And like that's not the case. Like my mom, she mainly took dance classes when she was in her 20s. And like I just love seeing people be a beginner at an age that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and this goes for every activity, every hobby, like people just assume you have to start young to be good, but that's not the truth at
No, it's
all.
not. And it takes a lot of courage to start older because you feel
Yes.
behind. But then also if you think I think of Missy Copeland, and while she wasn't an adult when she started, she was about 13 or 14 years old, and now she's the principal of a ballet company, and she's built this entire, platform off of her career. But she started in her teens, and as a woman in ballet, that's like, you should
Unheard of.
You should already be getting apprenticeships at that age.
right.
In a
No,
sense.
yeah.
So like, it's anything is possible, and you can do it. And like they said, don't be afraid to be a beginner because everyone has to start somewhere. And if that's a passion of yours that you feel like it's building inside of you, just go for it. There's open classes all the time. You can take open ballet, open hip hop, especially in LA. There's like endless amounts.
And New York.
Yeah. So
A lot of cities too.
yeah.
just offer, like Philadelphia,
Yeah.
like they have it too.
open level classes, which means all levels are welcome. So you don't have to feel intimidated. Like there's room for everyone to grow, and everybody's at a different level. And wherever you are, just be okay with that as your starting point, and then just work hard. I always say work hard because people are like, well, how do I get better? How do I get good? And it's like, you
It
just
takes
have
time.
to
It
just
does
do
take
it.
time.
No.
It's a process, but you have to work hard. Like you have to set goals, make a vision board, like write things down to hold yourself accountable and make sure that you're seeing that growth, because
Set
it's
goals
not
and achieve them.
yeah, it's steady. Like it's
Abby
not a
Miller told me.
spike. You don't just spike and like hit prima ballerina level or professional dancer level. Like it takes so much time because it's a physical sport.
Yeah.
And you have to like train your muscles. It's muscle memory. So be patient.
They had a adult dance class at my studio for a little bit around my senior year. So my mom would go and take like
Aw.
adult ballet classes, and it was always while my jazz class was going on. So sometimes I go and like watch her, and it's like the roles are reversed. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
Because
so
she's
funny.
always in the waiting room watching me. So now it's the other way around.
That's very cute. I love when parents are inspired by their children to start dancing.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I ever told you guys this. This isn't like my dad took dance, but at my dance studio they always had like daddy-daughter dances. So for 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade recitals, we always did a dance together, and it was like the cutest thing because they had everyone who wanted to do it. So it started with like the 3-year-olds and their dads, and then it switched to like the 10-year-olds and their dads, and then to the oldest ones and their dads, and it was so cute. And my dad, such a theater guy, like he was living up there. Like he had the best time. He loved it, and like it really got him into dancing. And he does theater, so like he's danced before, but like he really did like it. Like it was just really cute. So
It's
I
so
like
much
that
fun.
my studio offered that because it's so cute. Like it's just a great way to like get the parent involved in the child's interests and hobbies and spend time together. I just think it's really cute.
Yeah.
But
I feel like everyone should dance at one point. Whether
like
it's,
everyone does at some point.
Yeah.
Everyone takes ballet when they're 2 years
but
old.
even if it's like hopping into a Zumba class, like it's so
Like mine.
therapeutic. It's like truly amazing thing. But moving on.
Okay. This just says stage fails. So moments that you failed
Yeah.
on stage. I actually can't think of one.
We
You're
just
like,
never
I'm so
fail.
perfect. I never fail.
The only thing that I can really think of right away is that
The one
thing that
that
I
you
already
told,
told
yeah.
you where I literally blurted something out when there was no music. It's like, I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
This isn't my story, but it was the first thing that I thought of just now when when they asked that question. But I was in a dance with my friend, and it was a dance where one side of the stage does the choreography one way, and the other side mirrors it, and it changes a little bit. And one of my friends, I always get so confused when I'm backstage. I'm always, what side of the stage am I entering on?
Yeah.
I literally, the minute I leave the stage, automatically I don't know what my next entrance
I'm so
is.
flustered. Yeah.
So it happened to my friend. She went on the other side of the stage and got all confused. And so she just had to make it work and did the choreography mirrored like on the spot. But that was, I think about that so often because I'm like, I cannot imagine.
That's crazy. I guess, I don't know if this is considered a fail because like we saved it, but have you guys ever heard of the Will Roger Follies, Our Favorite Son, with the red glove and the blue glove? And like,
of course,
it's such an iconic
we had
number.
one too.
You did it?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
So we did it my freshman year of high school, and
This one. Yeah.
That will be forever one of my favorite dances. Like, it was just a really fun dance, but also you have your red hand and you have your blue hand, and you have to get it right. You're all sitting side by side next to each other, and there's like 20 of us, and you're doing the same exact like handography, I guess. And it's like a very specific, like, it's choreography that like is just, it has to be the same every time it's done anywhere. So it's very particular, and if someone has the wrong hand, you can see that. So there's one part of it when you lay on your back and you're doing like kicks.
Yeah.
And
my
for
gosh.
some reason, somebody in the middle, this was at a competition, someone in the middle got off and was on the wrong foot, and somehow everyone to the left of her followed her, but the girl to the right of her did not. So we were split half and half. So it didn't look as bad because it was literally like red, blue, blue, red.
Yeah.
Red, blue. Like, it was okay, but we didn't, like, the two girls in the middle didn't know what was going on the side. So, like, it could have been very bad if it was split at the wrong place. But, like, I don't know. I'd consider that maybe a stage fail just because that, like, we were working so hard on that, and then somehow it got off, and we've never done that before.
Yeah.
Too.
That's crazy that your studio did that dance because my studio did that dance too. It's kind of weird because I feel like it's not that common of a dance. Like,
yeah,
people
I
don't
think it's
compete
more like
it.
a traditional dance.
Yeah.
But also, I took dance in high school, but it wasn't like dance. It was like the Cotton Eye Joe. Like, I'm not even joking. It was very interesting. But instead of gym, that's what I did. And there was a whole like, maybe it was like folk dance. I don't remember what the unit was, but we learned it there as well. But I had already known it. So I was like, oh, like, this is so cool. Like, I didn't expect to even learn it once, let alone twice. Like, it was just like weird. But yeah, so I guess that'd be my stage fail. All right, I will pick.
Oh, you went first. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Worst type of dancers.
What does that mean?
No, like
Probably Becca and Bianca. I guess like
Let's leave it
dancers
at
that
that.
are like your pet peeves.
like dance pet peeves
Yeah,
in
I
dance
guess,
class.
like pet peeves that other dancers do.
Worst type of dancers. Okay.
Like I
just thought technique right away, but like we
No,
can-
I thought of
no,
something
not
very
like
particular.
that. I'm thinking more like, at least for me, like just people that
things that
types
they
of dancers
do.
that they do that are annoying.
Okay.
I guess I always get annoyed when people show up late to class. Like, I know that's like a very like, you know, typical one, but like especially when it's an important day and you have a lot to do, like just come on time. Like, you know when it's starting, you know where the location is.
Do
like
you
you go
mean-
to class there every single day.
Do you mean late, like 5 minutes or like 20 minutes? Because I've seen both.
You weren't allowed in the doors at my studio if you were a minute late.
Same
Really?
at my college, even like 1 second late.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Strict.
now that I say that, I'm thinking more of like college, honestly.
Yeah.
When the class is like early in the morning and then they purposely come late, like after the warm-ups or stuff, just to skip it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because I
god.
saw
That would
that
never
happen
have
a
been
lot.
allowed.
Never.
Yeah. Specifically in my contemporary class, and it started at 9:40, which like
That's a random time.
it's 9:40 to 11:10. Isn't that so like what?
They always do that at college. Mine was
know.
weird too. It was like 10:50 to
I
like
don't-
11.
Do 9:30
Yeah.
to 11. Like, I don't understand.
I know.
It's very weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, like people would purposely come late. And I'm like, and the thing is, I'm a
So,
dance
yeah.
minor, but I'm taking class with a lot of the dance majors. And I'm like, if this is your major, like, don't you want to be here for that class? Like, I just don't
And
understand.
you're paying so much
And
for
you're paying
it.
so much for the class. Like, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But like, then don't
Just
do
don't
it
come for the day.
altogether. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get annoyed because I'm like, this is your livelihood. Like, take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because if you can't take it seriously in college, I don't know what to expect from you. Or also, wait, sorry, I have one more.
Yeah.
People not telling you they're going to be absent until like the last minute, or like not telling the teacher.
Like from a
they're-
rehearsal?
For a rehearsal, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
because,
that's
like,
so annoying.
For example, like I choreograph for my dance company, and like this isn't based off of anything that they've done. I'm just like thinking like if somebody told me the day before, day of, that they weren't going to be there, I'd be
like an
annoyed
hour
because-
before.
Yeah, because like unless it's like a good reason, of course. But I'd be frustrated because it's like we only have so long to teach everything and perfect it, and like I don't like having to go over things. Like
Yeah.
Especially if you clear the schedule beforehand.
that's the
And,
thing.
like,
Like when you
redo
know
it
it
for
in advance.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Why are
that's
you-
happened before.
It's like, why are you the exception?
Yeah.
Right,
Literally.
yeah.
Like, yeah. But something that I really dislike is when you're learning choreography with a teacher and there's that one person that just keeps like giving people notes. Like at
I
my
hate
school, they
that.
would kind of designate somebody to be like the person for the dance that like remembers everything and has all of the
Oh my
choreography. And it
Were
was
you
always
ever that person?
no,
Oh.
because I didn't kiss their behind the way that these people
There's
did.
another one kissing.
Yeah,
up
but
to
they kind of
teachers.
go hand in hand in this way where like that type of personality was always the assistant to the choreographer for our
Oh
pieces.
my God.
And they would literally just be like, can I just say something for the whole class? And it's like, no, like that's not your job. Let the or they're like give notes. Like
It's not
you
their
should
place
flex
to
your
give
foot.
notes.
It's actually a flex foot. Like, no, you're not the teacher. And it just
Right.
makes me so angry. I'm like, please just sit down. Stop.
Have you ever
Rehearsal?
been the person? Oh, sorry.
It was just so
No, I
prevalent
was
at
just
my
saying,
school.
Rehearsal settings in like dance environments show sometimes like the worst of some people.
Yeah.
Like it really brings out like
Especially,
the
like,
worst.
Tech week or like right
Yeah.
before a show, like people.
But even the process of
crazy.
learning.
It's usually the process for me at least. Like
Ugh.
I've always been like, okay, just like
They really take the
Calm
role
down,
on.
calm
They,
down.
like, they like act like they're like the principal of the school. It's just so I can't. It's like a pet peeve.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, please be quiet.
But you know it's the worst when there's two of them.
yeah, and they're
And
like
they
best
fight.
friends.
No, and then they fight with each other
Right.
about no, it should be flexed. No, actually it should be pointed. And it's like,
Oh,
okay,
like two big personalities.
yeah. How
Yeah.
about you ask the choreographer?
Yeah.
Yeah, or just let them do their job.
Wait, I have
Yeah.
a question. Have you ever done this? Because I have been the person that's like, you see someone's doing it wrong, so then you ask the teacher to clarify
Yes.
for yourself.
Maybe
just
a
so they
couple
can say it
times,
out loud.
Maybe every once in a while.
Because whenever I do that, it's more like I'm looking out for the interest of the group, and I'm like, oh, like is it flexed or pointed? So then they hear it, but I like because I don't call people out, like that's not my place, obviously. But I've definitely done that where I'm like, oh, like is
yeah.
it flexed or pointed? Oh, it's flexed. Great, I'll flex it.
Yeah.
Like trying to like
Oh.
help them.
I have another one.
okay,
I feel like this question unlocked a lot.
It's
I have
just-
one too, but
Okay, I don't know if this is going to be what you're thinking, but
okay.
dancers that are not spatially aware.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And not, and I have actually,
We have experiences.
but I have a story about something not recently, something that happened years ago, and it's just so funny. We actually, side note, we took a dance class, me and Bianca, a few months ago, where we ran into this problem too, and it was like, I swear this person was following us. Like we'd go to different parts of the room to like, it just respect everyone's space.
Right.
And then like,
Respect your own space.
yeah.
Your
And then like
personal
this
bubble.
person, I swear, was like attached to me or something because for some reason they did not get the hit. Like, and I'm not trying, and I never am ever going to be rude about it. But
You just move. You're trying to move,
yeah,
and then they
I
follow
just
you.
move.
It's like
And then-
Pac-Man.
and then I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is the worst luck ever.
Yeah, and that's one thing, but then it gets into the injury territory. And at least I know that Becca and I have experience with injury due to lack of somebody else's spatial awareness. I got a concussion because of that. Somebody kicked me in the head. This was a dance that literally was rehearsed for like 2 or 3 months. We were we were doing tech the night before the show, and then I couldn't do it because I got kicked
Yeah.
in the head.
Wait, you didn't end up doing the show?
No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I couldn't because like it was really bad and
Yeah.
it was a big deal. But I'm not going to get into that right now. But that happened,
Yeah.
and I understand. Okay, well the problem at my school was that they would let in dancers that didn't have more than a year of experience, to be honest.
Really?
And yep, and listen, everybody deserves to dance, but at a conservatory where you are majoring in dance, there needs to be some level of awareness with your space and your surroundings. And you can't just suddenly have that if you're a beginner because you don't get it yet. You have to learn. But in your dance studio, like everybody needs to have their own little personal space, especially when you're learning choreography with legs. That's my biggest thing. Mark your legs when you are learning something. If there's a room of like 40 people at a class, do not go full out there when you're standing right next to somebody. I see it happen way too much. Somebody gets kicked in the face. It used to happen all the time at my school. And I was just like, have we not learned by now? Like after 4 black eyes, have we not learned that that's kind of not supposed to happen? It's not a normal thing.
Yeah. So the story that always comes up for me with spatial awareness is I was at a dance convention and we were doing leaps across the floor, and I don't know. And this person was already kept getting in my way during class, and they went behind me for leaps, and for some reason they were leaping directly behind me. So when my back leg, we were doing like a split leap, when my back leg was up, their front leg hit my back leg,
You guys
and
went-
I fell on the floor. No, they were fine.
Oh, of
They
course.
kept going. I fell on the floor in front
In
of
the splits?
everyone, and I just like fell, like not in the splits, no, but it was in front of everyone. Luckily it was, and I knew the convention teacher, so she was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" But like,
Did everybody see it?
yeah, everyone saw, and I was just so, because it looked like I made a mistake,
Right.
And
You're
I was
the one
like,
that fell.
no, it was not me. This was sabotage.
Did they say I'm sorry or anything? Were
I
they
don't
like
think so.
unaware of what happened?
I don't know. Maybe they weren't aware. I don't really remember. I just remember being mad.
Yeah.
And just upset
be
and
mad.
frustrated. Although it is like things like that do happen. It was just one of those things where I'd already been having troubles with them. Like for some reason,
Yeah.
you
they
knew
follow.
them.
I swear, no. Just throughout the day,
Okay,
the
okay.
convention day,
Gotcha.
they just kept. I swear, I have a gravitational pull
Yeah.
for people with spatial.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me.
I don't
maybe,
know.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Maybe.
Is this about us? Or is this play about us?
Play about us.
Yeah, that's literally what just happened. Okay, so I guess I'll pick my next question.
Yeah.
I guess so.
My voice is so raspy today. I'm like, okay.
Guess I'll pick my question.
What did you just say?
I actually don't know what you said.
Mumble.
I'm just talking raspy. I said, I guess I'll pick my next question.
Talk
I
in
said-
raspy.
I said talk in
Like it's a
raspy.
font.
Like cursive. You're talking.
I guess I'll pick my next question.
We should have done a whole episode just talking in cursive.
Okay, we'd get like
That'll
two
be
That's half of
lessons.
the episode on is just
Starting
cursive.
now.
Okay.
That'll be our bonus
All of a
episode.
sudden, like our listening goes way down.
Welcome to Barre Chat. That's where it's at.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
next.
Okay.
This is an interesting question. How do you deal with unfair casting?
I just had to do that. I'm sorry. It's such a big issue.
Cry.
It is obviously there's always some political aspect of casting, whether you like it or not. There's always going to be some sort of politics and favoritism and this and that, and sometimes it works to your advantage and sometimes it doesn't. And I think you just, at least for me, like you just really need to stay very grounded and centered and just like calm yourself down a little bit and just know that one role doesn't really define who you are, and you just need to know that, and you know that you're good and you are confident in your talents, and you don't need the validation or approval from a casting director or the person casting the show.
Yeah.
Although it would be nice, sometimes it doesn't always work that way.
Here's the thing. Casting is super subjective everywhere you go.
Yes.
There's always going to be some sort of biasness. And like Becca said, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you cannot let it get to you because everywhere you go, it's going to be the same story. So you just have to stay consistent with your training and with your just not letting, like, just don't let it knock you down. Because if you do, that's half the industry, really. Like, you can't let it get to you.
You can't let anything get to you in
Yeah,
this industry.
I know.
Kind of just on the subject of like the biases that happen with casting. It could be like financial reasons, family friendship, connection reasons. The list goes on. But I wish there was a way to base it mostly off talent. That's
Me too.
something that
Wait, that's such a weird idea, Bianca.
I know, what a weird concept to all these studios because
I
what
don't
they
think
do.
that's possible.
Listen, okay. If we're at a studio growing up, recreational, whatever, even competition studio, I understand the concept of seniority in that way, where if somebody's been at the studio for 10 years of their life, they're about to graduate and and go on to something else, yeah, give them the lead role, one of the lead roles, because, let them shine. When it comes to college and things like that, I feel like it should be about talent, because you are literally spending so much money to be there. And if you're there, like you're there for a reason, it should be off of talent and not what year you are at the school, because everybody, like, that's where the issues start to come. Because then it goes back to like spatial awareness. If somebody that's not ready for the role, it's just that in my experience, I personally had to go through those kinds of things where I would see somebody get cast in one of the lead roles that was not qualified to get those roles. And it's not anything against them as a person or a dancer. It's just when it comes down to it, when you boil it down, people are fit for certain roles. And it doesn't even mean it has to be you. It's just like.
But it should be.
Just kidding. Yeah. But like, I don't think that any of those outside factors should determine your role in a piece, whether it's a big role or a small role.
But sadly, it does.
Yeah, but it should just be not about politics, but more just about your ability and your training and your dancing and how you can make the role look the best that it can. And I've just seen so much of the opposite, and I just feel like it's the balance is off.
One thing that I also think too, especially in a school environment or even in a studio environment, someone's dedication should also be a factor.
Yeah.
Because you could have, even if they are like the best dancer, if they have
bad work ethic,
bad work ethic and bad attendance, especially in a school where you are being graded on attendance.
That's a big thing too.
And someone never comes to class or doesn't ever
care
or even when they're in class, why would they deserve a role?
Of course, it's the whole picture.
Yeah.
It's like your work ethic, your training.
Just unfair. Like, that's really,
don't give it to someone who doesn't care. Like,
because it's like, honestly, I'd rather have somebody who is putting everything into it, wants to be there, is always there, and loves what they do, and is maybe 80% what you were looking for, as opposed to the 100% package who missed half the rehearsals, has a terrible attitude. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
The people who get the leads or just are the stars or are put in the front middle all the time and are so cocky about it.
Like a diva.
Like they're such, like, they're the dance diva, they're the theater diva. Like, we all know people like that. And I absolutely cannot stand them, because I'm like, in what world do you think that you can speak down to other people that are in the same show, the same program as you, the same class? Like, I just think it's so... like,
it's divisive.
Inhumane, honestly. Like, don't talk to people like that.
Yeah.
You don't need to act like that. There's no reason, because why do you think you're better than everyone else? And like, even in high school drama club growing up, like, something about the lead, it could go either way, because they could be the nicest person and they can make the show extremely wonderful and an amazing place to be a part of, or they can make it a living nightmare and everyone fears them and everyone wants to be their friend but also is terrified of them. And it's like, that's not the way to do it.
It's like a really hostile environment.
Yeah.
And it rubs off on everybody else,
really
too.
It really does.
Yeah. That's a big one, I feel like. Should we do the next one?
Yeah, it's all you.
Why did you guys start dance, and what made you start it?
Well, I started about 2 weeks ago, and I just really found a love for it. Okay.
I started 2 weeks into my time on Earth, basically. Well, I was 2, and my parents and my dad tell me the story that, like, literally before I could even walk, I was dancing. Like, I was twirling, and, like, I couldn't stop dancing in whatever way I knew how. And my dad went to my mom, and he was like, we should probably enroll her in dance classes. And they were like, yeah, okay. So they did. And the class started at the age of, like, 3, and I was obviously younger, and they didn't typically let, that age in. But my parents were like, can you just please let her have a trial class? Let her just do it. And I promise you, like, she wants to be here. And the teacher was like, and then they finally convinced her. And after the class, the teacher was like, okay, like, she can join.
Are you good since a young age?
I don't know if I would say, like, good in, like, a technique sense, but I was very serious about it, and I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before. Like, I was never the child that was, like, picking their nose in the corner, like, not crying and, like, wanting to leave. I literally always wanted to be there, and I took it so seriously. And I look back on pictures now, and I'm like, oh, wait, I kind of was good.
Aw, that's
like,
cute.
because I just cared about the details and stuff. And, like, I think that being in dance at such a young age is something where you not only like get conditioned to want to stay in it, but I like just love it in general. So I never saw a reason to leave. Like the reason I started dance was because I was just dancing at home all the time as a kid. And then my parents were proactive about it and just put me in those classes. And it worked really well. Like some kids have that same experience where their parents will put them in something. They don't like it. Then they try soccer, you know?
Yeah.
But for me, it just happened that dance was, and I also was doing gymnastics and I liked it, but not enough. So we just stopped that and then we just stuck to dance.
Mm-hmm.
So like at a young age, I feel like it's a 50-50. Your parents have a say. You can choose if you like it or not, but they just kind of mesh together and ta-da. So.
I have a pretty similar story. I mean, when my mom gave birth to me, I actually came out in tap shoes doing
in the splits,
also doing a time step, which was really
that's
not
crazy
normal.
because I was
so
doing
like
Hey
you.
Big Spender out of the womb.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
the bar,
crazy.
all of it was there. I
Wow,
was in Laducas and everything. I didn't even know they made that in my size at that age.
Yeah. I know. My mom was
in the
confused
womb
where we got the metal plates for the tap shoes, but you know what? Like sometimes a miracle's a miracle. But no, I was the same way where my mom and dad also put me in dance when I was 2 years old. And I think it was more because like they were theater people and they were like, oh, you know what? Let's put her in something, you know? So they put me in dance and I don't know how well I did or how not well I did in class, but something my dad always says is like whenever I was on stage, I wasn't the crier. I wasn't the one not paying attention, regardless of if I was doing the dance, which I think I was always smiling up there.
Yeah,
like I was
same.
always having a good time and I really liked it. And I think it's because I'm an attention seeker and I love being on stage. I'm just kidding. I'm not. But no,
I'm not.
like I no, but he always said like I always just had such a good time on stage. But when it really started clicking for me, like I think I just stayed in it because, you know, I didn't hate it.
Right.
So it was like,
why stop?
Like if she's not miserable and not having a bad time, let's keep it going. And when she says stop, we'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did gymnastics for a while and I did it for a good amount of time. And then once dance started to pick up, I also did modeling. I did soccer for like 6 months. And I think I did Girl Scouts for like maybe 2.
I did Girl Scouts for like 2 months.
Yeah, like but there's also no time to do anything.
I got kicked out of Girl Scouts because I never showed up to the meetings.
I didn't show up either.
Those were with my dance friends. We all went to the same group. It was like,
But yeah, like the passion really started to kick in like middle school, which was when I stopped doing gymnastics because I was like, you know what? I love this and I want to take it even more seriously. Not that I wasn't taking it seriously.
Just focus on
but
that.
Like it really, everything just clicked and I was like, well, this is going to be my personality for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
like that's
literally.
kind of what it was. But yeah, so that's my story.
So my story's a little bit opposite of that. Oh my God, my voice.
Opposite.
But so as you know, I started dance late, but before I started dance, I first was a cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always what I said. Like I fell in love with performing in that aspect because they teach you the cheesiest facials, smiles, especially when you're doing it at a younger age. That's all they really care about is like the little facials and all of that and like doing your hair all crazy and your makeup all crazy. Like I really fell in love with that. And then I got really interested in rhythmic gymnastics. My mom put me in that and I loved that a lot. And I loved how serious it was. And I loved how rigorous it was. Like, I loved how hard it was. Like, rhythmic was such a challenge. And even to this day, I'm like, I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
But what I always got really frustrated about was how it was so sport, like, oriented, which means, like, there was a scoring base. So it was like, if you did this amount of tricks, like you had to hit your points. It was less of the performing and more of, did you catch the ball or did you nail that turn? And you were like mandatory to do an 8 count of dance steps in each routine. And that's all I cared about. And I would perform my heart out. Literally, these rhythmic gymnasts, they don't like smile most of the time, at least from my experience. They never smile when they perform. I used to wink at the judges.
Like I always do that at competitions.
As
like,
a rhythmic gymnast, like that's not heard of, at least in my time, like winking at the judges. Like,
Ooh.
who did I think I was? Like the
Really,
story in my family is that one of my first competitions, my mom was like, how was it? And I was like, I like gave them my all and I smiled at them and I winked at them, but they gave me nothing back. Like they didn't smile, they didn't do anything.
Stone cold.
Because it's all lit. You're not on a stage or anything. It's just in a gymnasium or something.
Gymnasium.
Yeah, so I really realized that I loved the artistry and the dance aspect, and I'd always not understand how like why that wasn't the focus. And I was like, well, that's not the sport. So that's when I really got into dance, and that's when I fell in love with dancing. But it's just I love
stuck.
Yeah, and that's what stuck. And I love to see my journey through it all. Like cheer, give cheer so much like of the reasoning why I love like the performing aspect of it, and then rhythmic gave me like the tricks and the flexibility and the discipline, and then here I am. So it's all just a beautiful circle.
So let's move on to the next question.
Thanks, Bianca.
Of course.
All right.
So happy to help.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll hold this
on the table.
Sorry, I'm looking at Tuffy. He's right out the door.
I can't see him from here.
He's sniffing. Let's bring Tuffy in.
Oh, he's coming in. I'm glad I stopped.
Come here, Tuffy. Hi. Come here. Come on.
Yay! There you are! Yay!
Bar chat listeners, this is Tuffy, and he doesn't like to be climbing.
Tuffy, speak.
Oh, I wonder if that was picked up. Oh, are you gonna sing?
Are you gonna say something to the bar chat listeners? He's licking the microphone.
You're so cute in your little sweater.
He loves sweaters, Tuffy.
He's so iconic. He's
ready.
ready. He's getting comfortable.
I kind of want to keep him.
He's getting comfortable. Let's just do one of the questions with Tuffy in the room.
Close the door.
He said, "I'm coming in."
He said, "This is our podcast." Yes. Okay, let me pick. All right. How did you guys meet? Oh, that's a cute question. We've talked about that, but it was probably in the first episode, like way back when. So let's dive into it. So I guess, well, Becca, do you want to start with this one? Just because
we can start about how we all found each other first before we became friends, because it starts there.
Okay. So Becca, Bianca, and I all make very similar content, as you guys have seen. Like we all do stuff about dance, but usually we're not dancing. We're usually like doing POVs and skits and like comedy stuff related to dance. So you would understand why we'd all be on each other's For You pages. So yeah, so I had seen Becca's videos. I genuinely don't remember seeing Bianca's videos until Becca told me about them. But so Becca and I, we were mutuals, right? On TikTok?
Yeah, so
and this was back in 2020, yeah. So we had known like who each other was, and we had like commented on each other's videos and stuff, and I was like, oh, like she seems cool, like she seems like a real person. Like, well, okay, like not like that, but like, oh, like it's not like a crazy person. No, wait, this can
I answer?
She seems like somebody that you would get along with.
Take it away, Becca.
Wait, yeah, can I answer this question just because I was like the bridge, so we all like don't need to.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I have always seen Lexi and Bianca's videos on my For You page. So, of course, I followed both of them. And me and Lexi were mutuals first. And then me and Bianca...
We were also, though.
And then me and Bianca became mutuals.
I don't know the timeline of, like, the Becca and Bianca versus Becca and Lexi.
That was 2020.
Yeah, so I was mutuals with both of them at some point. But I actually met Bianca first because we both lived in LA, and I was home for break, and I had seen that Bianca followed me on Instagram. So I was like, oh wait, I'm going to follow her back. Like that's really cool. And then within the next few weeks, because I don't really go on people's Instagrams, but within the next few weeks, she posted that she was teaching at Millennium. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I DM'd you asking for a guest spot.
Yeah.
So you knew that I was
brave.
coming because I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. We're going to meet. And so I showed up to her class and we ended up talking after class. And then Bianca was like, oh my God, let's collab together. So we met up, I think, once. And then we made a few collab videos. And then later in the summer, me and Lexi got together because she had previously DM'd me because she was getting a job opportunity from a company that she knew I was affiliated with. So she sent me a DM and was like, asking me
Business.
questions about it. Yeah, just,
strictly
business.
Strictly
We are not going to be
business.
friends. We are just going to.
I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
And then leave me alone.
For my
And
own
then
gain.
we ended up realizing that we had so much in common. I remember the first, that's when we both found out that we did Tremaine together.
That's when I realized maybe
We-
it's not just business. Maybe I'll be her friend too. Like,
yeah,
who knows?
it was kind of crazy. And then we met up in New York, and
Well, because you had said to me, like, oh, like, let me know if you're ever in New York and I'll do the same. And then it just happened that, like, a month later, we happened to be in New York on the same exact day.
yeah,
Like, it was just weird.
That's so crazy.
I know. So we happened to be in New York the same exact day. So we were like, okay, let's meet up. So we did. And we hung out in New York. We made some TikToks. What else did we do? Was that really it?
we walked, and then I got food poisoning later that night.
Oh, yeah. She got so sick after I left.
Like a
It was
really
really
rare
weird
form
timing.
of food poisoning. I was out
But-
for like almost a month.
Wasn't it just like pizza or something?
It was undercooked
Did we
chicken.
eat
Chicken,
anything?
yeah.
We didn't get
No,
food.
we didn't get food, and because you had eaten a late lunch right before we hung
Oh,
out,
yeah.
so I didn't eat like for a really long period of time. So by the end of us hanging out, I got so caught up in the conversation that like I kind of forgot.
Like what we do.
And then
all day.
I was going out to meet up with friends later that night, so I was like, okay, wait, I quickly need to get something to eat.
Mhm.
And like, when you're just I was so hungry.
You'd eat
Yeah.
anything.
I like went to the first place I saw, and I probably like if I wasn't as hungry, I probably would have noticed maybe that the chicken was a little weird. But like, when you're just like,
just
Was
eating
it like
it
so
down.
raw
fast.
or was it just maybe?
I don't know.
They just
It
handed
was
her a raw piece of chicken.
Yeah,
she was, like,
so
"Yum."
hungry.
no, probably. Well, it was it was coated in a lot of different things, so I really couldn't
Ugh,
tell.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, there was like a lot of sauces on top, but that was
I felt so bad because I remember texting you like after, and you're like, "Yeah, like I'm ill," and I was like, "Oh no!"
Like it was.
It was really bad 'cause
That's
you
for
flew
another
home.
that's for another episode, but that was the most insane experience because I was all alone in New York City with an unknown disease. We didn't know it was food poisoning until later.
unknown disease.
No, they had no idea what was wrong with me, and they were
know,
like
I remember.
genuine. I went to, if you need doctor recommendations in the city, I've been to all of them because they took me to every single doctor to figure out what was wrong
It
with
was
me.
like a tour of New York City, but the doctors.
Oh, literally, I'm like best friends. I'm like gonna send them a Christmas card.
Literally.
and-
But yeah, so we met that day, and then you had mentioned to me about Bianca because you were like, "Oh, have you met any other TikTokers?" And I was like, "No," and she was like, "Well, I met Bianca," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And then I don't know
you
at what
followed
point-
her.
Yeah, I
after
did.
that.
I did follow you. I don't remember like.
No, I think you didn't. I think you followed her when I told
followed,
you about her.
Okay, so that
You're welcome. I just got you a follower.
I don't really remember that timeline either, but I
know.
just remember like seeing like one of your videos, that one about the dance
The jazz
studio.
teacher
Yeah. That was
warm-up.
like the first one I ever
Yeah.
saw, and probably the only one. Just kidding, but yeah,
I don't remember seeing any of your videos.
exactly.
so- But no, you had followed me on Instagram, and then I remember you slid up on my story about my dog Franklin because you said something like, "Oh, you should bring Franklin to LA." Or
He
Aw.
was
it
a
was-
puppy.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a baby. So it must have been like
He was
because we
so
got him
cute.
July, which was like a couple weeks after I met up with Becca.
Yeah.
So it was like all this was
Yeah.
pretty close timeline wise.
Wait, why didn't you bring Franklin to LA? Him and Tuffy could have been the best of friends.
I know he would not behave on a plane.
Yeah.
Like I could not imagine putting him below the below the
Aw.
plane. He would cry. He
Yeah.
would hate it. So yeah, he's a stay put. He's a stay at home dog.
Mhm.
But yeah, because he doesn't like the car either. But anyway, so you slid up on my story, and then we started talking. And then at some point, did we make a group chat? Because I remember we group FaceTimed at some point.
What was our group chat called?
I don't know, but I'm just trying to remember how this all happened because what I remember is that we all FaceTimed that one time.
And you were out shopping.
yeah, and I was like,
We asked each other. The first thing I remember saying to you, you were like, "Wait, Lexi, how old are you?" And I was like, "I guess I was what 19.
20.
You were 20.
I was 20 at the
this
time.
was like 5 months ago, or not 5
No,
months
it
ago.
wasn't.
I'm sorry. It's like a year ago.
Okay.
It feels like 5 months.
You're
ago.
20?
You were
Wait.
20.
I'm trying to think. No, it could not have been. Really?
I think so.
Okay, it must have been.
It
no,
all
no,
happened
it
so
had to
Really
fast.
be-
20.
Or like beginning of the semester, 2021. Like
Mhm.
or like junior year.
January.
No,
Yeah.
not January.
No.
Because we met up in 2021.
Oh,
And
yeah, probably.
We met up in June 2021, and then I remember the three of us went live at some point. It was like
And we did our
I
Migos
had
collab.
COVID. I had COVID when we went live because I was home. That's
Oh,
why we
yeah.
FaceTime so much, because I was home and I wasn't running around like a crazy person. So I had the time to FaceTime you guys at any time that worked for you guys. So we went live. And that was like first week, September 2021.
Yeah, I don't think I was
Yeah.
at school yet.
Yeah, you weren't there yet. And then I don't know what you were doing.
So long story short, she was 19 or 20.
yeah.
That was
But-
a really long-winded answer.
So wait, should we talk about how like we came up with the podcast idea?
Well, I'm really trying to think about how we already talked about that a little bit, but I'm trying to think about what our group chat name was.
It wasn't anything. We named it Bar Chat once we
No,
decided.
we
No,
had-
wait, there was
decided that-
another name.
Well, you named it podcast workers for coworkers.
Coworkers.
No, that's our Instagram.
No, but we did have that in our actually, but it was probably just Lexi and Becca like in my phone. Like we didn't have a set.
I swear
Thing.
it was named.
Or it was
something.
probably like a SpongeBob meme reference or something that I put like as a placeholder.
Oh,
That's so
I think
funny,
you did
though.
put it. Now it's just bar chat. We
like
should change
like
that. That's
Krusty
boring.
Krab or something. Like I don't know. But it was not bar chat.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
But
Yeah.
once we started like talking more and like, we just ended up
We ended up FaceTiming a lot.
Yeah.
Like I remember we FaceTime a lot now because like one, we have to,
Mhm.
but two, and then we end up like talking and stuff
Yeah.
just because we always talk. But we FaceTime so much just because we wanted to, which was like cool because we
Yeah.
just wanted to like catch up and like, I don't know. There was a point, and I think it was when I had COVID, where I called you guys like every day.
Yep.
It's
Like, we
nice.
talked a lot.
Yeah, it was really nice to have an internet besties
It was
because
internet friend. It was so weird that like that's the thing. Like oh,
yeah,
these are my
but it was
TikTok
also
friends.
nice because when we were all at school, like we're living our lives and we were so separate. Like my friendship with you guys were so separate than the rest of my life going on. It was just such a nice escape and like such a
Yeah.
nice friend and it still is like it's so nice to just like call you guys and be like, oh, this is what's going on in my
Like
life.
I could tell you guys literally anything and it won't get back to anyone, or like I
Yeah.
could literally just say
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
It's nice to have like someone who's a little separated from your life,
absolutely.
day to day.
And it's
So-
also like nice telling each other about things that it's like, oh, my people at school already know that I'm in my dance company, but it's nice to tell like a new fresh
Yeah.
face about it and like, oh, like I'm doing this, and then you guys can like actually be like, oh, that's so cool. Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
I like telling you guys because you're not there for it.
Right.
Internet friends, that's so fun. I love that we're
Internet
like
friends.
I always am like, oh, they're my internet friends.
So then wait, I have a question. Were you guys ever worried like meeting up or anything that we wouldn't be like what we were on the internet?
Well, we had like a whole day planned and like I remember just being really nervous before.
I was so nervous
and
to
we
meet you,
couldn't
Becca.
find each other and then you seemed like we clicked right away and then same thing with Bianca.
and she let me borrow her portable charger.
I scared you.
Well, yeah, because you taught an entire class before we actually spoke.
That's so true.
So you were like, hi.
Were
And I
you
was like-
nervous teaching in front of her?
No.
I was nervous that you were judging my technique and my dancing ability. So I was like, oh my God, I have
Oh,
to
I
be on
was.
my A game.
I'm just kidding. I'm
No,
just
I
kidding.
know you are.
No,
But
no.
I feel
No,
that
you
way
were
about you
good.
guys now.
You were good.
Thank you.
I don't get nervous teaching because I've been doing it for so long.
Oh,
I was
that
excited.
was another thing. I just remember being so shocked that you were like normal and there was
Like
you,
not that
serious.
character.
No, that you were serious.
Yeah, exactly.
And not like goofy, funny all the time. Like you were actually being serious. And I was like,
couldn't
this is
imagine you
weird.
teaching.
I still am weird watching you teach because you like sometimes don't make jokes. And I'm like,
I
this
make
is
jokes
weird.
all the
you
time when
do.
I teach. That's
Yeah,
like
you
my
do.
it's like literally stand up.
You just
teaching.
you just get really normal. You're just really normal when
Yeah.
you teach, and I'm just not used to you being normal.
Well, I mean, I have to be some sort of normal to like get a combo across.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I just make a lot of jokes.
Yeah, you do.
When we met Bianca, I can't really like base it off of anything because the first time we met, we had already agreed to do a whole podcast together, and we had talked like every day on the phone
For like 6 months or more. So
I know,
like,
so it was like just whatever. Like it was weird because I guess we could talk about when we first met on FaceTime. Like I just didn't know what to expect. But
was
like
that the first time?
that was the first time we spoke, like actually like a real conversation. Like I feel like we clicked
Yeah.
very quickly. Because very soon into it, like I was saying that the three of us should do a podcast.
Because we're
You-
hilarious.
I'm pretty sure you said that the first time we met. Like in
No,
that conversation.
yeah.
Did I really?
Yeah, you're like, oh, like, I want to do a podcast, or just like talking about it like
you're
nonchalantly.
welcome.
You were like, it was just so fun. It was just so fun to meet other people that did the same little internet things that we do because people in our everyday life, like, although they're supportive of it, and it's just, it's different than someone being in it. It's the
We
same
all
thing
do
with
the same
dance
thing.
friends.
We're
We
so
all do the same
similar,
thing.
but also so different.
Yeah.
But the similarities are not the same similarities I have with my other friends.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like having you guys to talk to about certain things, like you guys get it in a way that like not everyone else does. So I like having you guys.
Right.
Like
We
it's
were
not
saying-
that bad to be friends with you guys, I guess.
Whatever. No, we were saying the other day, me and Lexi, saying how I love how the three of us just do like bits that last for like
Like
Those
too
are
long.
my favorite
Too
kind of
long.
friends, though. Like I love having friends that can keep up with my bits and like my banter.
yeah.
Like it's just like you need to go along with it and like let's do it.
We
And
will
it's
have-
not planned. Like you just gotta pick up on it and go.
And like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
And like let's do it.
Well-
And that's why I loved you guys when we did our live for the first time, because we did a 1 hour long bit about clogging. It was an hour long.
Clogging.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not even joking. We were talking about clogging and how like we had like whole backstories and everything about like our
Right,
clogging
especially
history.
her.
We showed our moves.
Yeah. Oh
Did
my
we
goodness.
really?
No,
I
we
remember.
did. We totally did. And everybody was like leaving and the numbers kept dropping because
And we did
they
not
were, like-
care.
They were like, what's going on?
We were literally just on FaceTime and people were watching.
I
Like, That's what
know.
it was.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
what this is. I'm
so
sorry.
if you were there for that, but like, ugh, good
We
times.
can go on for so long.
I love
But
talking.
that's
Sorry.
Moral of the story: we
Wait,
love
you should have
clogging.
a podcast.
Maybe I should. Do you guys think I should do it?
Guys, I think we should do one.
Do you want to do one with me? You
No,
guys?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank
Bianca?
you so much for watching this
I
episode.
plead the fifth. So that's kind of how the three of us met and became friends. But this was a really fun episode. It's nice to have organized questions that you guys
Yeah.
asked us, because a lot of the time we just kind of go off from like thoughts in our head and like it gets a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
So this just felt a little bit more organized
and
but
personalized for the viewer too. So
exactly.
Because you guys wanted to hear this.
If you heard
Yeah.
your question, there you go. Like, yes. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Bar Chat. Make sure you're subscribed to all of our social media and following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, and maybe more in the future. With that being said, we will see you in 2 weeks for the final episode of Bar Chat Season 2. And we're super excited about it. So stay tuned and see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.